Hello wonderful humans, welcome back to the Bliss Bean. As you can see from the title of this video, I was featured in a book. Fun fact, the B in Junie B. Jones stands for Beatrice, but no, not that book. I was featured in a book called Business Insider Teen, written by a fellow teen. Actually, I'm turning 20 this year, so I won't even be a teen anymore. But this book compiles stories from a bunch of teens who started businesses before age 18. The book features a lot of interviews with a lot of very successful people who made me wonder why I was interviewed, and it gives a ton of advice for getting a job as a teenager, how to present yourself professionally in the real world, and how to deal with adults who underestimate you because of your age. So if you are a teenager and you're the kind of person who's super ambitious, always dreaming up of business ideas, the link to order the book is in the description, so you know what to do. At the end of this video, we're gonna have an interview with the author who is 15 years old, which is mind-blowing. But first, I know a lot of you came to my channel from the How I Started a Photography Business video, and by this point, I would consider my blog a business as well. And through the years that I've been doing all this, I think I've picked up a few things that you don't normally learn in high school classes or anything like that. So in this video, I wanted to share 5 lessons I've learned as a teen business owner. Voila. Number 1, you have to be confident in what you're doing, and if you're not confident, you have to pretend to be confident. So at this point, almost everyone in my life knows about my YouTube channel. All of my friends know. I wrote my Common App essay about it. I really milked it in all of my college interviews, but it wasn't always like this. At the beginning of the Bliss Bean, I was so terrified of anyone finding anything that I was doing on the internet, and it was the same kind of thing I'm doing now. Like, it wasn't anything weird or anything to be embarrassed about, but I started blogging in middle school in 7th grade, which is not a great time for confidence, neither is early high school. So throughout all that time, I hardly told anyone about the creative projects I was working on. After hiding for a long time, finally, I wanted to put together this 30-day productivity email challenge. As I was putting it together, I was pouring so much time and energy into it that on some level, I started realizing that in order to grow, I needed to stop hiding. So when it came time to release my challenge and promote it, I posted it on my personal Facebook account. In my recent video where I read through my old journals, I actually read the entry from that day, but that entire day I was so terrified of checking the comments to see what people were saying about my blog. But obviously everyone was super kind and encouraging about it, and afterwards I was just like, okay, that wasn't that bad. It was like the less I resisted people knowing about my blog, the more confident I felt in it, the lighter I felt, and the more my blog could grow. I think it's good to think of it this way: when you start anything like a blog or a business, whatever, you want it to get big and successful, right? Just nod and say yes, and logically you realize that if it does get as big and successful as your wildest dreams, it'll be impossible to hide and everyone will know about it. So even if you aren't currently at that level of success, if you're keeping it all under wraps and all hush-hush, you're kind of sending a message out into the universe that you don't intend to ever reach that level of success. I know it's really scary. Trust me, I know. You have to just accept that. You have to accept that you're gonna be taking scary little jumps, but with each step that you take to put yourself out there, you're just gonna get more and more comfortable, and it will get easier. Number 2, you just gotta start. I think one of the downsides of the internet and having access to all of these examples of really successful people much younger than us doing much cooler things, is that we're always observing people who are much farther along down their path, and it makes it hard to see where the start of our own path even is. If you're prone to overthinking, overplanning, all of these are just nice ways to say procrastinating, I am here to tell you that it is actually so simple. If you want to start a blog, write a blog post. If you want to start an Instagram account, post an Instagram photo. If you want to sell t-shirt designs on Etsy, sit down and sketch out some designs. Watch a video to learn from someone who has done the same thing. At this point with my YouTube channel, I'm pretty organized about it. I have a detailed content calendar, a workflow for each video that I put up, but I didn't start like that. When I started, I knew so very little about what it takes to run a YouTube channel. With my photography business, I didn't even use a contract in the beginning. Yikes. I was organizing and planning everything through Instagram DMs, and to keep track of what clients I was working with, I just had a note in my notes app on my phone. Now I have contracts, PayPal invoices, a Trello board to manage clients. Everything is all super nice and organized. I'm very proud of it, but you can't expect to have all of that laid out from day one. I guess you could theoretically spend lots of time studying, planning, setting up, but in a way, you're just procrastinating the actual doing, the actual execution execution. Instead of waiting until you're all perfectly set to go, you can start now and then build as you go. I guarantee that you'll learn more from going out there and actually doing the work than you would from just reading about the work. After you start, lesson number 3, you just have to keep going. I hope the stuff I'm saying about these lessons is actually helpful, because if you just look at the lessons themselves, this video is kind of stupid. It's just like, be confident, start, keep going. Starting a business is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Anyway, so number 3, keep going. You might get instant success with whatever you're doing, and if you do, congratulations, that's honestly very impressive, but it's more likely that growth will take time, and that's where the mental part of this comes in. I shared this on Instagram, but recently I was checking my analytics and I found that to get from 0 to 100 subscribers took me 7 months and 25 videos. Someone actually left a comment saying that they were discouraged from starting a YouTube channel after seeing my channel and seeing how hard I worked on mine and how little came out of it. That's me, discouraging people from following their dreams. Hopefully at this point, my story is somewhat of an encouraging one rather than a discouraging one. I want to share a little anecdote I read in a book called She Means Business by Carrie Green, which is another book I recommend if you want to start a business no matter what age you are. She talked about attending an Abraham Hicks event where they gave the analogy that if you get in a car to drive to San Francisco, now I live in Wisconsin, so I don't know why I would be doing that, but even if there was a lot of traffic on my way from Wisconsin to California, even if it was standstill traffic, I wouldn't get out of the car and be like, well, guess I'm never getting to San Francisco. It might take a long time, might take less time, but I know that eventually I'm gonna get to San Francisco. That's just how roads and cars work. So you need to apply that same mindset to whatever it is that you're pursuing. Maybe it'll take longer than you expect to get there. There'll be times when you feel like you're making no progress, but you need to firmly believe that you will inevitably get there and that you're just getting closer and closer. Number 4, know your why. I think a big part of the reason why I was scared to tell people about my blog or my YouTube channel was that I just felt like it was kind of cliche to want to be a YouTuber. But anytime that feeling hits, I just have to remember why I am doing this. Yes, there are a lot of misconceptions about what it means to be a content creator. Like we're all greedy and lazy and we just want to get people to buy stuff by posting fake pictures of our fake lives. And I just have to be like, no, I am making a positive difference in people's lives. The stuff I put out there is valuable and I believe in this. So whatever it is you're doing, you have to get clear on why you're doing what you're doing, because there will be lots of challenges. It might take longer than you think. It might be harder than you think. People might not believe in you, but none of that even matters because you know deep down that you're on the right path. Number 5, you have to take charge of your time. Right now I'm on a gap year, so I haven't thought about homework in so long, but in high school I created a rule for myself. The rule was that in order to leave time for blogging and photography and other things that mattered a lot to me aside from school, I would not do any homework from Friday to Sunday, which meant that I either had to get it done at school or squeeze it into those 4 nights between Monday and Thursday. Obviously, if we had like a group project or something and we all agreed to work on it over the weekend, I would do that. Like, I wasn't a shitty person, but as much as I could, if I had the power to decide when I did something, Friday to Sunday were off limits. I feel like when a lot of people hear that rule, they're like, putting less time into your studies? Tisk tisk. But the idea of not bringing work home with you is a pretty common thing for people working jobs to strive for, like establishing that clear work-home boundary. So why not establish those same boundaries with your school responsibilities? This might be bordering on controversial, but school isn't the only thing in your life. I mean, in college, I think you narrow in your academic focus and what you're studying more directly impacts your career, but a lot of high school is just, you gotta get through it. Like, I wasn't learning biology or chemistry because I want to be a biologist or a chemist. I was doing it to get the grade. And so my point is that if you are in high school and there are other things you want to pursue, like starting a business, you have to learn how to do school in a smart and efficient way. You shouldn't just quit school or not care about it. I did not say that, so don't tell your parents or your counselor that some girl named the Bliss Bean tried to tell you to drop out of high school. But you just have to realize that putting more time into homework and studying isn't necessarily going to yield better results. You have to learn how to invest time into each of the buckets of your life very carefully. Okay, surprise, I have a 6th bonus tip. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to add this, but this is my video and I can do whatever I want. So number 6 is that you don't have to know what you're passionate about right now. I think that's often one of the things that keeps people from starting, is they don't feel like they have a clear passion for any one thing. I would argue though that one of the best ways to figure out your passion is to to start exploring some passions. My first blog was kind of a craft blog / personal lifestyle mishmash. I did some coding tutorials even, like HTML and CSS stuff. That's what I was interested in middle school. Then in high school, I got really interested in health, especially healthy cooking. The Bliss Bean was originally like a wellness blog. And as I kept growing and changing, as one does in high school, one grows and changes, I found that the few blog posts that I had written about productivity, those were the ones that got me most excited. And so now my niche is productivity and self-improvement, but it was a long and winding journey to get there. Alrighty, as I promised, I got to interview the very impressive author of this book, Shirley Wang. We talked a little bit about why she decided to spend her time in quarantine writing a book at age 15. I just can't get over the fact that she's 15, I'm sorry. We talked about some of the challenges that teens face in the business world, and yeah, I don't want to give too much away, so enjoy. I'm gonna say bye now, so please subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. You can order Shirley's book in the description, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye! First of all, can we have you introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name is Shirley. I'm 15 years old. I'm from China, but I'm originally from Taiwan. So I've recently been writing my own book called Business Insider of the Teenager. It's basically a business book that teaches teenagers how to dominate the business industry and teaches them like basic things like how to get a job, how to write a CV, how to write a resume, and basically how to defy stereotypes surrounding teenage entrepreneurs. I also have like little stories and interviews from teenage entrepreneurs such as like Jade Dharma Wangsa, Brendan Agronoff, Paolo Ocha in there. That they're really interesting, and I just hope that a lot of people really like it.
Okay, first of all, I feel we just need to give you a round of applause because that's crazy that you're doing all of that at age 15. Like, I feel like at age 15, I had no idea like what my path in life was, and I was just kind of feeling lost. So I think it's really cool that you've started all these things at such a young age. So let's talk about the book now, because that's why I brought you on here. What inspired you initially? Where did you come up with the idea to write your book, and what was your purpose with it?
I'll tell you a little story. So my mother would take me to the library, the local library, probably once a week. And then since I'm really fascinated with business, I'm always like, I want to be a business student when I go to college. So I always look at the leadership section, the management genre, and then I would look at all the books about like Steve Jobs and like, Facebook, Google, startups, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But then there were always books that, taught adults how to, dominate the business industry, how to start their own business, all that stuff. But they never taught teenagers how to do it. There wasn't a specific handbook that taught teenagers what the business world was about. And I think that was something that a lot of people still want to know. They want to know how, teenagers can utilize social media as a source of revenue, and how to gain profit through, like YouTube, stuff like that. So people want to know something that, teenagers would want to learn about, and not just adults.
What do you think the biggest challenge or like obstacle that a teenager who's interested in starting a business is going to face, and how does your book address that?
I think the most difficult thing is to like get a job, and to always, to talk to the adults, and to, talk to your boss and say that why you are more competent than a 22-year-old that might have, professional skills and stuff. That's the biggest struggle for teenagers is their age, and people think that they have like a lack of maturity, or like a lack of experience, or a lack of knowledge.
So the next question that I wanted to ask you was, who is one content creator that you personally have looked up to?
Jade Dharma Wangsa. I watch her videos when I wake up, when I go to sleep, because her content is just authentic. First of all, authentic. And second of all, she gives really good business marketing content. And I love marketing. I feel like marketing is the base of everything. If you don't have marketing, then your product, your really, really amazing, $1 million product can't get out into the world. People can't see it. So I think marketing is the base of everything. And she tells it really well. She tells you about social media marketing and how you can utilize that as a source of revenue. And like, I've been trying to learn that as much as I can from her. So I did an interview with her yesterday, and she said some of the greatest stuff about, her career, and how she's an 18-year-old, but she runs 3 businesses. And I think that's crazy, but that is absolutely incredible. And I look up to that 100%.
The first time I heard of Jade was back in high school. I was doing FBLA. Have you heard of Future Business Leaders of America?
Oh, yeah, I have. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was thinking of doing, I believe, the digital video production event, and I wanted to see what other students had done, and I stumbled upon one of her videos, like her submission for the competition. And then after that, I kind of forgot about her. And then I think I just stumbled upon her on YouTube, and like her last name, I've never seen anyone else with that last name. So I was like, oh my God, like that's the FBLA girl. And I was like, just amazed that someone from FBLA like actually made it in the real world, you know? So are you currently at school? Is your school closed down for the moment?
What is it now? April? So my school's been closed probably like 1 month or 2 months already. During that time, I was the most unproductive person in the world. I was so unmotivated. I did not do anything. I woke up at noon, and then the rest of the day probably was like drooling around, and then I was tired, so I was kind of moody. And then my mother would just like lecture me every single day for being unmotivated, not not being on like doing my tasks or something like that, or not helping out around the house. It was like the worst time ever. Like I was just so like felt so bad inside. So I stopped probably 2 years ago for writing, and then I didn't like ever pursue it again. But then like the week before we came back, my mom was like, okay, so you really like business, you really like really like writing, why don't you just write like a business book or something, like something to help you like relieve the stress and help you like have a little fun for now, and just like keep your mind on something and do something for once, because I was not doing anything. And I was like, yeah, sure. I started planning out a schedule. Like I have an actual schedule of having 1,000 words a day, and then for a week 7,000 words a day, and then I had like a due date. And then I was like, I really like writing this. Like I really like writing business. This is something I'm really passionate about.
While you were still at school and you were working on other things like your photography business and making some YouTube videos, how did you manage to balance your time between your studies and then the other things that you were passionate about?
So I think I was always able to, because I was always the person that was like, I finished my work really fast and I did it really well. I would like go home, get my work done from school, and then I would do whatever I wanted to do. So because that was like really important to me, like I always wanted to, make time for things that, either it was, having a little bit of downtime or just doing something like reading or writing. Like those were the things that I wanted to do. So I would always make time for it. So I think if you really like doing something, you'll always make time for it, even if you have like hours of exams. So you could always shift things around and organize your time. Maybe you could say like, okay, so I'm going to do math for 1 hour. I'm going to do English for 1 hour. And then I'm going to take, either it's like 15 or 20 minutes doing, whatever you like to do. Either it's like playing sports or, writing a book, so like that. It's always going to like, time is going to build up. So I think if you always spend like a little bit of time every single day, it could be like 5 minutes before you go to sleep, like a little bit. And then that will eventually build up, and then you'll eventually be, going for what you love, or going for your dream, basically.
Awesome. And where can people follow along with the book on the internet or on social media?
On Instagram, you can find at Business Insider Teen. So that is the business account that I have for my book. But then in the bio of Business Insider Teen, you can find my name as well. It's spelled, it's Shirley Z. I feel like you can like link it or something. It's Shirley Z.
Yeah. I've been seeing your posts on Instagram. They're all so cute.
That's you.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for coming on here and answering some questions for us.
Thank you.